Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Becca Jo, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. Today we are beginning another installment of my makeup diary series. I have a couple of these videos out already on my channel. I'll make sure they're linked down below. I was recently reminded of them, and so I figured why not get another one going. So I am not yet sure how many days I'm going to be able to put into this video, so I will have that number right up here for you. But today is going to be day number one, look number one. I just finished doing my makeup, so let's go through the things that I put on my face today. For my foundation today, I'm wearing this number 7 Protect and Perfect Advanced All-in-One Foundation. This is in the shade Calico. This claims to be a medium coverage and it's got some sunscreen in it. It says it's suitable for sensitive skin. I like this foundation, but I don't like wearing it multiple days in a row. So it's nice, it looks really nice on my skin, it's a good color match for me, and I decided to wear this today. My concealer, I have my number 7 Hydroluminous Dark Circle Concealer. This is in the shade 2. I really like this concealer. I probably could go down to shade number 1, and depending on, what else I'm wearing on my face that day, number 2 can lean a little bit too deep for me. It looks perfectly fine, I think, with the foundation that I have today, but I would be interested to pick up shade number 1 and then wear it on its own because it's a beautiful skin finish. Next, I have my Sydney Grace Cream Bronzer. This is the shade Bon Bon. This is not available for separate sale. I had gotten this in, I believe, a mystery bag or some sort like that last year. So this one, I have 2 of them. This one has a little bit deeper and a little bit more red in its base, so it's beautiful in the summertime. I'm wearing my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 setting powder all over my face. Next, I went in with brow gel. This is Sydney Grace Clear Brow Gel in the Stronghold. This came in one of my mystery bags this year in their Christmas in July, and I'm really, really, really enjoying this brow gel. On my lids, I have About Faced, I can never remember the name of this, Shadow Fix eyeshadow primer. On my lids today, I have a simple 2 shadow look with the Flutter palette. I used the shade Echo with a pencil brush to give a little bit of a winged shadow liner. And then I dipped into Mystic Meadow, which is this beautiful shade right here. I picked up Mystic Meadow with a rougher brush, sprayed it with just a little water-based setting spray that I make, and threw it on the lids, and it's really pretty. I wanted the reflect that would match my shirt, but I didn't want to go for an all-out or dramatic look of any kind today. So I really like the way that this 2 shadow look came together. If I didn't say it, this is Ensley Rain Cosmetics Flutter Palette. I did go into the waterline. I don't know if it's very visible. This is a ColourPop multi-chrome liner in the shade Movie Star. I just ran to the store the other day and picked up a few of these. My mascara today is Clinique High Impact Waterproof Mascara. Then I went into blush. I'm wearing this Give Me Glow blush. This is the shade Ginger Spice, and this is a beautiful neutral, not a sunburnt shade, but you've had a touch of sun kind of shade. It's peachy brown, but I wore it again the other day and I really liked this shade, especially for the late summertime. And on my lips today, I'm wearing Sydney Grace lip cream. This is the shade Mary. This is another item that came in my 2024 mystery bag. So yeah, here we are. Here is look number 1, day number 1. Let's move along to day number 2. Welcome back to day 2. Don't mind whatever these bangs are doing today. They have a mind of their own and I don't care. Okay, so here we are with day 2. Here is my look. Another day going into the office. I'm not sure that I said that on day 1. For today, I have a little bit more formal of a meeting, so I wanted to have something very clean, pulled together kind of look for today. And as I was looking over the products that I just put on, I realized that many of these products are what I wore for the wedding that I was in recently. So quick recap, I was honored to be a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding this summer. I did my own hair and makeup as well as the bride's hair and makeup. I ended up using a lot of the same products on both her and myself. And then apparently I pulled a lot of those products to use today. Not intentionally, that's just the products that I reached for. So let's get going. For my under eye concealer today, which is where I started with my base, I used this number 7 Hydroluminous in shade 2. For my foundation base, I used Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Birch 1.5. Neither of these were wedding day choices. I also used my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 Translucent Setting Powder. This, of course, I used on wedding day. I used my Lorac bronzer. This is the shade Sundays. For blush, I used Lorac blush in the shade Aura. This is just like the perfect shade. It's not too warm, not too cool. And then I topped that with this Laura Geller Baked Blush and Brighten in the shade Pink Buttercream. This is just a little bit pinky and a little bit glowy, so I think it works really nicely as a little bit of a blush topper. I also like to use it just as a blush on its own, but I like combining it with this Lorac blush too. In my brows, I have Sydney Grace Strong Clear Brow Gel. I used my About Face Eye Primer. Another item that I used on wedding day and today is Sydney Grace Love's Journey palette. This is just a beautiful staple palette. It's got a good collection of a little bit warmer, neutral with almost olive undertones, and then a little bit cooler. So you can really go, I know it's all neutrals, but you really can get a variety of looks out of this palette. And we've got lighter to mid-tone to deep. This is such a gorgeous staple palette in my experience and in my opinion. So I used, like I said, this palette on both myself and the bride on wedding day, but for today, I have the shade In My Heart all over my lid. I have a little bit of Wistful on my inner corners, and I used just a little bit of Fools in Love along my upper lash line, just to add a little bit more dimension, smokiness, you know the deal. I have on my waterline Smashbox liner, this is a brown in the shade Sumatra. I have Maybelline Sky High Waterproof Mascara. On my lips, I have LA Girl lip liner. This is the shade Blushing. This is just kind of a go-to shade for me. And I have that topped with lip topper from Sydney Grace in the shade Trisha. Here we are for look number 2, day number 2 of our Makeup Diary series. All right, let's move along to day 3. Hello there, welcome back. Day 3, look 3. Here is my look for today. Again, today I'm going into the office. I don't have any exciting meetings or anything, so I went maybe a little bit more punchy than I otherwise would have. I know that summer is not over and I don't want to wish summer away, but I'm like digging these fall tones. So let's get into what I put on my face today. So for starters, I put on my Sydney Grace peptide serum as just a little bit of skin prep before makeup. I'm wearing again today my number 7 Hydroluminous concealer in the shade 2. I put this on first, looked at it, and it's just a little too deep for me. I think it looks so nice, and when I have other foundation on, you don't really notice, but I am going to keep an eye out for a sale and hopefully be able to pick this up in the shade 1. Next, I put on my Hourglass Veil Primer. This is just a sample that I got a long time ago, and I've never loved it, but I'm really liking it under the foundation I'm about to mention. The pump, of course, I've heard about this on other folks, whether the sample size or the full size, but the pump stopped working on mine, so now I'm at the point where I'm opening it up, which thankfully it's just a twist top, and then scooping the product out, doing that whole number. But anyway, yeah, I've been liking it under my foundation, and I have been sampling the Sydney Grace Mineral Foundation. This is the shade BU6. I think BU6 is a nice match for me. I think it's maybe a little bit too deep, but all in all, I'm not mad about it. My skin has really been liking it. I woke up today and felt like I'm experiencing too many pimples and my skin just doesn't feel great right now. So I went with just a comfortable foundation, the Sydney Grace Mineral Foundation that I have been liking, that I think looks really nice, doesn't feel heavy. And so that's what I'm wearing on my face today. I used just a splash of my Sydney Grace setting powder under my eyes to set that number 7 concealer. For my face products, I pulled out one of my palettes with a bunch of Sydney Grace stuff in here. This little guy is not Sydney Grace. So this was my bronzer today. This is the shade Butter Cookie. I got this in a mystery bag, I believe, last summer. My blush, I combined these two. We've got Thinking of You and Daydream. And this was my highlighter today. I don't always wear a highlighter, especially on the days I'm going into the office, but I felt like a little splash of highlighter was a good choice for today. So this is the shade Down the Aisle. I'm wearing my Sydney Grace Brow Gel. This is their clear brow gel in the Stronghold. About Face Shadow Fix Eyeshadow Primer. And for my eyeshadow today, I combined a couple of palettes. Sugar Drizzle Polish, this is the Trashed palette. They are coming out with a new palette, and so I just wanted to reacquaint myself with their formula. This is the only palette I have from the brand, and I have the shade Party All Night kind of in my inner corner and then pulled through my crease over the mattes that I'll mention in a minute. I think that this palette, these formulas are spectacular. I really enjoy this palette. And of course, I love purples and greens and pinks, so it's the right color story for me too. For my mattes today, I reached into my Melt 420 palette. This is the only palette that I have from the brand, but I do really enjoy their matte formula, and I have seen that the Fatally Yours collab with Bailey Sarian palette has been on sale lately, and so I wanted to pull this palette back out. Not only is it beautiful for fall time, but I wanted to pull it back out to see if I wanted to consider picking up the Fatally Yours palette. Let me know what your thoughts about Melt are in the comment section. This palette only has one shimmer shade and I really don't use it, but the mattes I really do like. These are all definitely mid-tone to deep mattes, and I think the Fatally Yours palette is more deep with a few mid-tone shades in there. But I like the way that they blend, and I think the color story is fun, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm actually interested in the palette or if I just feel like buying something new. I don't want to be buying things just to be buying something new. So that's kind of where my head is at right now. So I used the shade Blunt here all over my lids, just blend it out everywhere. And the shade Dank under my lower lash line. I have this Thrive Cosmetics liner. This is the shade Lizzie in my waterline. I have my Maybelline Sky High mascara, and I am like this close to just starting a new mascara. And on my lips, Sydney Grace lip cream in the shade Mary. This came in one of my 2024 mystery bags, and if you saw that video, you know that I said, I don't know that I'll get much use out of it, but I've gotten a lot more use out of it than I expected. I think maybe I haven't had like a neutral leaning, a little bit warmer lip cream from Sydney Grace, so this maybe filled a hole in my collection that I didn't know I had. And it's not as peachy as I thought. Like, I feel like it's a nice grounded peachy neutral, and especially with my blush color today, I think it looks very nice. Okay, that was everything for day 3. Now let's move along to day 4. Here we are, the final look for this video, day 4. Today I have some acne going on and my skin just does not feel great. So I wanted to keep my base super simple. I used this Airpress Arnica All Over Pot Concealer in the shade Latte. This is like ever so slightly too light for me, but I don't have any fake tan on or anything right now, so I think it looks okay. I put it on the spots and then under my eyes, and it blends into the skin very nicely. It's a very gentle concealer. It feels very nice on the skin. I set that under my eyes and just put a dusting of powder all over my whole face with my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 Translucent Setting Powder. I went a little bit heavier than normal today with my contour slash bronzer. The undertone in this product is so smart. This is the shade Fair 1. This is Danessa Myricks, I think like Contour Balm or something is the name of the product, but the undertone in this is just so great for my particular skin tone. It's not super warm, but it's not cool. It's got almost a splash of olive in there, so it looks very natural in my opinion. So I went a little extra heavy with this around my cheeks. just to make sure that I still have some color to my skin. I did go in with blush. This is Sydney Grace Cream Blush. This is the shade I Choose You. It's a good neutral, leaning cool toned blush. I find that when I put products on my face, but I don't have like a full face of product like foundation or concealer, things tend to pull more warm on me in like an orangey way and not something that I love or reach for. So I went with tones that almost lean cooler to hopefully help combat that. I think that the colors of everything really pulled together very nicely. I think it all looks really neutral. Of course, I wore my Sydney Grace Brow Gel and About Face eyeshadow primer. On my eyes today, I dipped into my Summer BYOP. I love this so much, and it may become an all year round BYOP, and that's totally okay with me. I used the shade Ivy League and just messily threw that through the outer portion of my eye and my crease. And then I dipped into Firefly. This is a single from Ensley Rain, and threw that on the inner portion of my eye, mostly with my finger, put it there and then kind of spread it. And then I just took a clean fluffy brush and just made sure that it was well fluffed through the inner portion of my eye. This is like a simple eye look, but it's got a little bit of something. There's some structure with the matte and a little point of interest with the sparkle, but otherwise super easy, super simple. I have my Clinique High Impact Waterproof Mascara on my lashes. And on my lips, I have Give Me Glow Lip Liner in Pink Sprinkled Donut and Sydney Grace Lip Topper in Trisha. So yeah, here we have made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you enjoy this type of video, please let me know. I can fit these in a little bit more easily throughout the week, but I don't always think to do them. So if I can gauge your level of interest in them, then I know how frequently to work on them. If you liked the video, please give the video a like. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, please add them to the comment section, and I'd love to continue the conversation down there. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love it if you'd consider becoming a subscriber. I will include my Makeup Diaries series playlist. I also have a Get Ready With Me playlist in the description box below. I have a few other playlists going on out there too. I love to talk about Sydney Grace and Ensley Rain if you haven't picked up on those already. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one.